Hill Street Blues is an American serial police drama that was first aired on NBC in 1981 and ran for 146 episodes on primetime into 1987. Chronicling the lives of the staff of a single police station, blues being a slang term for police officers in an unnamed American city, the show received critical acclaim, and its production innovations influenced many subsequent dramatic television series produced in North America. Its debut season was rewarded with 8 Emmy Awards, a debut season record surpassed only by The West Wing, and the show received a total of 9 Emmy nominations during its run. In 1993, TV Guide named the series the all-time best cop show in its issue celebrating 40 years of television. In 1997, the episode Grace Under Pressure was ranked number 49 on TV Guide show's 100 greatest episodes of all time. When the list was revised in 2009, Freedom's Last Stand was ranked number 57. In 2002, Hill Street Blues was ranked number 14 on TV Guide show's 50 greatest TV shows of all time, and in 2013 TV Guide ranked it number 1 in its list of the 60 greatest dramas of all time. Overview: MTM Enterprises developed the series on behalf of NBC, appointing Stephen Bochco and Michael Kozel as series writers. The writers were allowed considerable creative freedom and created a series that brought together, for the first time, a number of emerging ideas in TV drama. Each episode features a number of intertwined storylines, some of which are resolved within the episode, with others developing over a number of episodes throughout a season. Much play is made of the conflicts between the work lives and private lives of the individual characters. In the workplace, there is also a strong focus on the struggle between doing what is right and what works in situations. The camera is held close in and action cut rapidly between stories, and there is much use of overheard or off-screen dialogue, giving a documentary feel to the action. Rather than studio cameras, handheld Arriflexes are used to add to the documentary feel. The show deals with real-life issues, and employs commonly used language and slang to a greater extent than had been seen before. Almost every episode begins with a pre-credit sequence consisting of briefing and roll call at the beginning of the day shift. From Season 3, it experimented with a previously on montage of clips of up to 6 previous episodes before the roll call. Many episodes are written to take place over the course of a single day. Many episodes concluded with Captain Frank Furillo and Public Defender Joyce Davenport in a domestic situation, often in bed, discussing how their respective days went. Although filmed in Los Angeles, the series is set in a generic unnamed inner-city location with a feel of a U.S. urban center in the Midwest or Northeast such as Chicago or Pittsburgh. The program's focus on failure and those at the bottom of the social scale is pronounced, very much in contrast to Bochco's later project, L.A. Law. Inspired by police procedural detective novels such as Ed McBain's 1956 Cop Hater, it has been described as Barney Miller out of doors. The focus on the bitter realities of 1980s urban living was revolutionary for its time. Later seasons were accused of becoming formulaic. Thus, the series that broke the established rules of television ultimately failed to break its own rules. Nonetheless, it is a landmark piece of television programming, the influence of which was seen in such series as NYPD Blue and ER. In 1982, Saint Elsewhere was hyped as Hill Street Blues in a hospital. The quality work done by MTM led to the appointment of Grant Tinker as NBC chairman in 1982. In Season 7, producers received scripts from acclaimed writers outside of television, Bob Woodward and David Mamet. There is also a short-lived Dennis Franz spin-off called Beverly Hills Bunts, in which Franz dismissed Lieutenant Bunt's character moves from the Hill to Los Angeles to become a private eye, taking along Sid the Snitch Thurston as his sidekick. Production. The theme song was written by Mike Post and reached number 10 on Billboard's Hot 100 in November 1981. Pilot. Brandon Tartikoff commissioned a series from MTM Productions, who assigned Bochco and Kozel to the project. The pilot was produced in 1980, but was held back as a mid-season replacement, so as not to get lost amongst the other programs debuting in the fall of 1980. Barbara Bosson, who was married to Bochco, had the idea to fashion the series into 4 or 5 episode story arcs. Robert Butler directed the pilot, developing a look and style inspired by the 1977 documentary The Police Tapes, in which filmmakers used handheld cameras to follow police officers in the South Bronx. Butler went on to direct the first 4 episodes of the series, and Bosson had hoped he would stay on permanently. However, he felt he was not being amply recognized for his contributions to the show's look and style and left to pursue other projects. He would return to direct just one further episode, the second oldest profession in Season 2. Season 1, the pilot aired on Thursday, January 15, 1981, at 10 p.m., which would be the show's time slot for nearly its entire run. Episode 2 aired 2 nights later. The next week followed a similar pattern. NBC had ordered 13 episodes, and the season was supposed to end on May 25 with a minor cliffhanger. Instead, building critical acclaim prompted NBC to order an additional 4 episodes to air during May sweeps. Bochco and Kozel fashioned this into a new story arc, which aired as 2 two-hour episodes to close the season. One new addition with these final 4 episodes was OFC Joe Coffey, who originally had died in the first season finale's broadcast. In early episodes, the opening theme had several clearly audible edits. This was replaced by a longer, unedited version partway through the second season. The end credits for the pilot differed from the rest of the series in that the background still shot of the station house was completely different. It was also copyrighted in 1980 instead of 1981. The show became the lowest-rated program ever renewed for a second season. However, it was only renewed for 10 episodes. A full order was picked up partway through the season. Season 2, a writer's strike pushed the start of the season forward to October 29, meaning that only 19 episodes were completed that year. Kozel was now listed as a consultant, signifying his diminished role in the show. He later stated he was already feeling burnt out, and in fact was relying more on car chases and action to fill the scripts. A less muted version of the closing theme was played over the end credits. Season 3, Kozel left the show at the end of Season 2, replaced for the most part by Anthony Yakovich and David Melch. This was the show's most popular in terms of viewership, as it finished number 21. This was also the birth of must-see TV, as the show was joined by Cheers, Taxi, and Fame. The network promoted Thursdays as the best night of television on television. Michael Conrad was increasingly absent from the show due to his ongoing battle with cancer. Season 4, following his death on November 22, 1983, Michael Conrad's final appearance was broadcast halfway through the season in February 1984 in a memorable send-off episode, Grace Under Pressure. Det. Harry Garibaldi was introduced at the end of the season as a temporary replacement for LaRue. The show won its 4th and final Emmy for Outstanding Drama Series this season. Season 5, the show changed drastically this season, entering a somewhat soap operatic period according to Bochco. New characters included Sergeant Stanislaus Jablonski and Det. Patsy Mayo. Det. Garibaldi was now a regular, while Mrs. Farillo became a full-time member of the squad room. Bochco was dismissed at season's end by then MTM President Arthur Price. The firing was due to Bochco's cost overruns, coupled with the fact that the show had achieved the 100-episode milestone needed to successfully syndicate the program. Betty Thomas won an Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series this season. However, at the awards ceremony, recurring imposter Barry Brayman rushed the stage ahead of Thomas and claimed she was unable to attend. He then claimed the award and left the stage, confusing viewers and robbing Thomas of her moment in the sun, although she returned and spoke after the ad break. Presenter Peter Graves suggested that Brayman was on his way to the cooler. Season 6, major changes occurred as Patsy Mayo, Det. Harry Garibaldi, Lieutenant Ray Colitano, Faye Farillo and Officer Leo Schnitz were all phased out at the start of the season, and Joe Coffey left near the end. The sole addition was Lieutenant Norman Bunce, played by Dennis Franz, who had played a different character, Det. Sal Benedetto, in several episodes of Season 3. Peter Jurasik played a new recurring character called Sode the Snitch, who was often teamed with Bunce. In a 1991 interview on Later with Bob Costas, Ken Olin explained that these characters were removed so that the new showrunners could add characters for which they would receive royalties. The season premiere opened with a roll call filled with officers never before seen on the show, briefly fooling viewers into thinking the entire cast had been replaced. It was then revealed that this was, in fact, the night shift. The action then cut to the day shift pursuing their after-work activities. Another unique episode from this season explained through flashbacks how Farillo and Ms. Davenport met and fell in love. This was the first season that Travanti and Harmel were not nominated for the Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor/Actress in a Drama Series. Season 7, Officer Patrick Flaherty and Officer Tina Russo joined this season in an attempt to rekindle the Bates-Coffey relationship of years past. Stanislaus Jablonski became a secondary character partway through this season, and when Travanti announced he would not return the next year, the producers decided to end the show in 1987. The program was also moved to Tuesday nights almost midway through the season after nearly 6 years to make way for LA Law on Thursdays. This was the only season that Weitz was not nominated for the Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series. Only Betty Thomas was nominated, making her the only member of the cast to be nominated all seasons. This was also the only season for which the show was not nominated for Outstanding Drama Series. Schedule. The series later aired in reruns on TV Land, Bravo, American Life TV, and is currently on NUVO TV. Seasons 1 through 3 can also be viewed on Hulu.com. Season 3 can be viewed as streaming video on commercial sites and is also available in many countries from Channel 4 on YouTube. Setting: the producers went to great lengths to avoid specifying where the series took place, even going so far as to obscure whether the call letters of local TV stations began with W or K. However, occasionally they would let something slip, such as the use of call letters WREQ, TV Channel 6, in the Season 3 episode Domestic Beef. Another indication that the series took place in the Midwest or Northeast was Renko's statement to his partner in the Season 1 episode Politics as Usual, just drop that cowboy stuff. I was born in New Jersey, and never been west of Chicago in my life. Specific references in other episodes to New York City, Boston, Philadelphia, Detroit, Cleveland, and Columbus, Ohio would exclude those locales, while the clearest indication where the program was set lies in brief and occasional glances at interstate highway signs, including one sign designating the junction of I-55 and I-90, which is in Chicago. There was also one episode that contained a close-up of an L train with the letters CTA visible. Show writer Stephen Bochco attended college at the Carnegie Institute of Technology in Pittsburgh. The rundown, shabby, drug-ridden impression of Pittsburgh's Hill District the Bochco acquired was apparently part of the inspiration for the show. The implication of a fictitious metropolis combining urban characteristics of both New York City and Chicago was effectively demonstrated in one episode early in Season 6, In the Belly of the Bus, in which Belka is on undercover assignment at an intercity bus terminal on 145th Street, suggesting the scale of Manhattan's reach of numbered streets into the 200 range. Yet that same episode's title derives from the detectives being knocked unconscious and stowed in a duffel bag by the perpetrator, who places it in the cargo section of a bus bound for Springfield, Illinois, as visibly marked on a parcel thrown in at a subsequent stop. As the driving distance between Chicago and Springfield is 200 miles, that would appear to be about as conclusive as many of the show's establishing shots and credits footage. Although the series was filmed in Los Angeles, and routinely used locations in downtown Los Angeles, the credits and some stock exterior shots were filmed in Chicago, including the station house, which is the old Maxwell Street police station on Chicago's near west side. The show's police cruisers are painted and marked similarly to Chicago police cars. The series frequently used establishing shots, under the credits at the beginning of the first act, showing an Interstate 80 sign, commuter trains entering and leaving the old Chicago and Northwestern Railway Chicago Terminal, and aerial views of South Side neighborhoods. Exterior views of the Cook County Criminal Courthouse at 26th Street and California Avenue were used to establish court scenes. An exterior view of Philadelphia City Hall represented the state capitol. Precincts. During the course of the various episodes, 17 precincts are named: Hill Street, Polk Avenue, Midtown, Von Steuben Avenue, Northeast, St. James's Park, Michigan Avenue, Washington Heights, South Ferry, West Delavan, Fillmore, South Park, Preston Heights, Castle Heights, Richmond Avenue, Farmingdale, and Jefferson Heights. Cast. Officers are listed by the rank they held at first appearance on the program. Some officers later held higher ranks. Main characters: Captain Frank Furillo, Joyce Davenport, Sergeant Phil Esterhaus, Detective Mick Belker, Sergeant Henry Goldblum, Officer Andy Renko, Officer Bobby Hill, Lieutenant Howard Hunter, Officer Lucille Bates, Detective J.D. LaRue, Detective Neil Washington, Lieutenant Ray Colitano, Officer Joe Coffey, Faye Furillo, Sergeant Stan Jablonski, Detective Harry Garibaldi, Detective Patricia Patsy Mayo, Lieutenant Norman Bunce, Officer Patrick Flaherty, Officer Tina Russo, Doris Robson. Other characters: Chief Fletcher Daniels, Officer Leo Schnitz, Grace Gardner, Jesus Martinez, Captain Jerry Fuchs, Judge Alan Wichtel, Captain Freedom, Assistant DA Erwin Bernstein, Officer Robin Tattaglia Belka, Officer Sal Benedetto, Gina Srignali, Detective Manny Rodriguez, Celeste Patterson, Sid the Snitch Thurston, Hector Ruiz, Judge Lee Oberman, Buck Naked Flasher. Gangs in Hill Street Blues. Gang culture was a feature in all 7 seasons, beginning with the first episode. Several storylines related to gang life, and the different approaches to negotiation, in particular by officers such as Furillo, Goldblum, Hunter, and to a lesser extent those of the uniform or plainclothes detective ranks. Interactions included multiple gang meetings held at the precinct to negotiate turf boundaries and truces in exchange for facilitating a presidential visit that did not come to pass or the return of a governor's pet dog. The gang police meetings more often formed part of the comic rather than the dramatic elements of the series. Gang interactions mostly centered around the Hispanic gang Los Diablos, and the fragile, but productive and increasingly trusting, relationship between its leaders, Martinez and Furillo, who even attends Martinez's wedding. Martinez, the only gang character given any extended development, moves through the series from early and relapsing belligerence, to negotiation, to finally renouncing his gang colors and qualifying as a paralegal. David Caruso had a recurring role as Tommy Mann, the leader of a rival Irish street gang named the Shamrocks, in the early years of the series. Danny Glover had an early career appearance in the first 4 episodes of Season 2 as Jesse John Hudson, erstwhile leader of the Black Arrows, whose stated aim to go straight turned out to be hypocritical, when he attempted to take back control of the gang. Critical reception. Hill Street Blues received rave reviews from critics initially in general alongside dismal Nielsen ratings. Early schedule switching did not help. The show was broadcast once weekly on 4 different nights during its first season alone but gradually settled into a Thursday night slot. The NBC Broadcast Standards Unit deemed it too violent, too sexy, too grim. The producers described the show as an hour drama with 13 continuing characters living through a Gordian knot of personal and professional relationships. John J. O'Connor in a May 1981 review charted its growing popularity and called it a comfortable balance between comedy and drama. The groundbreaking choice to include African Americans as mainstays in the core ensemble cast and to feature several interracial and interethnic cop partnerships drew notice and praise, as did the overlapping plots and examinations of moral conundrums such as police corruption, racism, alcoholism, and both interpersonal and institutional forgiveness. The show was very influential, with many others imitating its use of handheld cameras, ensemble cast, and multiple overlapping story arcs lasting for several episodes, set in urban decay. Alan Sapinall wrote in 2014 that it is on the short list of the most influential TV shows ever made. Whether through shared actors, writers, directors or through stylistic and thematic complexity, its DNA can be found in nearly every great drama produced in the 30-plus years since it debuted. He compared Hill Street Blues to Casablanca, which was so influential on other films that if you come to see it for the first time after a lifetime of watching the copies, it could be at risk of playing like a bundle of cliché copyright SA Euro even though it invented those cliché copyright S. Awards. Shares the record for Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Drama Series wins with Mad Men, LA Law, and The West Wing. It has been nominated for the most Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series and Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series. The series shares the Emmy Award record for most acting nominations by regular cast members for a single series in 1 year at the 34th Primetime Emmy Awards. For the 1981 Euro 82 season 9 cast members were nominated for Emmys. Daniel J. Travanti and Michael Conrad were the only ones to win. The others nominated were Veronica Harmel, Torian Black, Michael Warren, Bruce Weitz, and Charles Hayde, and Barbara Bosson and Betty Thomas. At the 34th Primetime Emmy Awards, for the only time in Emmy Awards history all 5 nominees in an acting category were from a single series. The pilot episode, Hill Street Station, was awarded an Edgar for Best Teleplay from a Series. Hill Street Station is the only episode in television history to have won the 2 major Best Director and the 2 major Best Writer awards. Over its 7 seasons, the show earned 98 Emmy Award nominations. That averages out to 14 nominations every year. Betty Thomas was the only one in the cast to be nominated in all seasons, also the only one to be nominated in the last season. In 1997, the episode Grace Under Pressure was ranked number 49 on TV Guide Euro's 100 Greatest Episodes of All Time. When the list was revised in 2009, Freedom's Last Stand was ranked number 57. In 2007, Channel 4 ranked Hill Street Blues number 19 on their list of the 50 greatest TV dramas. DVD releases. 20th Century Fox released the first 2 seasons of Hill Street Blues on DVD in Region 1 in 2006. Both releases contain special features including gag reel, deleted scenes, commentary tracks and featurettes. On December 5, 2013, it was announced that Shout Factory had acquired the rights to the series in Region 1. They subsequently released Hill Street Blues, the complete series on DVD on April 29, 2014. On November 4, 2014, they will release Season 3 as a single season set. In Region 2, Channel 4 DVD released the first 2 seasons on DVD in the UK in 2006. In Region 4, Shock Records released the first 3 seasons on DVD in Australia on December 4, 2013, and the remaining 4 seasons on April 30, 2014. On December 4, 2013, Shock Records also released a complete series set. In popular culture, Hill Street Blues has inspired parodies, storylines, characters, and cultural references in numerous media vehicles. Computer game. In 1991, Chrysalis Software released the computer game, Hill Street Blues, based on the TV show. The game runs on the Amiga, Atari ST, and DOS platforms and places the player in charge of Hill Street Station and its surrounding neighborhood, with the aim of promptly dispatching officers to reported crimes, apprehending criminals, and making them testify at court. If certain areas have less serious crimes unresolved, such as bag snatching, they soon escalate to more serious ones, such as murder in broad daylight. The game, which now falls into the category abandonware, is still available for download at computer game sites and outlets, and has received mixed reviews. Television. A 1982 episode of SCTV parodied how the large cast swarmed the stage for the show's 1981 Best Drama Emmy. In the parody, the mob rushed the stage and trampled Hervé copyright Villages, played by John Candy. Another episode parodies the show, in a sketch entitled Benny Hill Street Blues, portraying life at the police station, but in the slapstick styles of the British comedian. A 1984 edition of The Lenny Henry Show featured a single sketch parody of the show, including a roll call sequence and opening credits where the actor's billings clearly reference the show's star, Daniel J. Travanti. A 1990 episode of Bochco's Cob Rock parodied the roll call with an original song, Let's Be Careful Out There, based upon Sergeant Esterhaus' trademark instruction to his officers at the close of each roll call. James B. Sicking made a cameo appearance at the end of the scene, dressed as Lieutenant Howard Hunter in LAPD's SWAT uniform, lighting his pipe on the way out of the roll call room as his character typically did on Hill Street Blues. A 2004 episode of Dead Like Me parodied the roll call with a scene showing the roll call of Roxy at her meter-maid job, including Sergeant Esterhaus' trademark instruction to his officers at the close of each roll call. It also included the theme tune playing as the meter-maid cars left the station and headed out into the city in the style of the Hill Street Blues intro. Music. In 2006, The Who wrote a song called Mike Post Theme. In 2013, Justin Timberlake recorded a song called Take Back the Night, and the first part of the intro sampled the theme from Hill Street Blues. The opening to the 1984 video Back Where You Belong by 38 Special is an homage to the roll call. The SGT doesn't use Esterhaus' trademark line, but instead says be extra careful. References. External links: Hill Street Blues at the Internet Movie Database, Hill Street Blues at TV.com, Hill Street Blues at Encyclopedia of Television, Hill Street Blues related interview videos at the Archive of American Television.